Hey, what's up everyone? My newest project, 2002 Chevy 1500 with 261,000 miles. Now a lot of you may say, why in the world would you buy a truck with 261,000 miles? That's a good question. I'm going to tell you the reasons why. This thing is a 1500 HD crew cab, a lot more desirable. It is a short bed. It does have a 6.0 liter engine with a 4L80E 4x4. Now that makes it a lot more desirable. Few issues that I got is a faded hood, faded roof, damaged mirror, which is a simple fix here, nothing too crazy. We do have trims that need restoration. When you open the door, you notice that it just completely falls down. You got some hinges here that will need to get repaired. Walk around to the back, you do have two tires that are pretty damaged already, and something happened back here in the tailgate, which I'm not sure what it is, but we're gonna need a replacement one since something fell right over here and damaged it completely. If you notice on this side, it doesn't really not even lock in place. There's a huge gap here, which is just gonna need a brand new tailgate itself. Some new taillights will make it look a lot better. I got a deep scratch here, which is gonna need a little more love. And if you see it here, you also have that damaged trim. Now as far as the interior, we do have some damage here, and I assume this is when the previous owner was grabbing on this thing so hard just to try to close the door and damaged it. We do have a cover here that's just from the aging. We do have a Bluetooth audio from Pioneer. We have a little bit of damage here from the headliner. We're gonna have to get that done. And that there, I see that rear window is not working properly, so that has to get addressed. But overall, in good condition, good cleaning, and we should be able to bring it back to normal. And the back seats, we're missing a trim here. Overall, decent condition for an 02. I'm not one to live on the edge with my life. I just put $30 of gas and I still have no fuel here. So obviously the fuel sending unit is not measuring. That has to get addressed. Now we'll test the four-wheel drive system in it. We'll place it in neutral and we'll hit the 4 low here and hold it until the light is solid. Now simply drop it in drive. There you go. Oh yeah, that's working. Okay, so that's working perfectly fine. Back to neutral, and two-wheel drive it is. Engaged. Okay, so we have a lot to do. On this to-do list, we have to clean the engine, replace the fuel sending unit, replace the fuel filter, replace the door hinges, replace the window regulator, do the oil change, level the truck, the rear differential. We're going to test fit the tailgate and remove all the side moldings. So the first order of business was to get that dirty engine all cleaned up, which has been completed. Then it was time to get down that fuel sending unit, so the tank has to come down. We start by removing the filler neck. There's a ground strap and 2 bolts holding it on, so that has to come down. And then you have your vent hoses, your fuel return, and your fuel sending main hose. All those were removed along with 2 connectors, and this whole assembly comes right down. Now to remove the fuel sending unit, there's basically your 3 lines that basically pop right off, and from there's a locking retainer that it has a pin that you have to push out of the way and simply unlock it counterclockwise, and the whole fuel pump assembly will slide right out. Next, we're gonna tackle the door problem. Completely comes down, and as you can see, it doesn't want to close. So we're gonna replace the hinge kit, which is right in here and here, with this. Let's get to it. I'm gonna pop this off here. You're gonna get to the plug, push it out. We need to remove this trim. Get that out of the way. This guy has to get out. And this plug here.
Just be you.
Vic was able to vacuum for me and help me out. So it looks a lot better now. Alright, and next we have a gap here, and these trucks use torsion bars, so all you're really going to need is a wrench and an 18mm. Now the way I like to do this to make sure they're even on both sides is basically get one of these old air gauges, and you'll see it right there. You're at 21. And we'll do the other side, which is also 21. Now if you go to the back, we're way off. So the truck just looks slanted like this, tilt forward. We're gonna just raise it up a little bit, not too much though. Now the way we're doing it, I basically just jacked up the truck and make sure that the front tire is in the air. And right towards the middle of the vehicle, you're gonna see these two bolts. 1 and 2. Those are for the torsion bars. So the way I like doing them is if you make the same amount of turns both sides, it's gonna stay even for you. You're gonna go ahead and do that. So that's a quarter turn. Another quarter turn. Another quarter turn. And another quarter turn. So that's one full turn. We're gonna do 2. Okay, and now we're gonna do the other side. Now remember, I was at 21, now we're at 36 on this side. Let's check out the other side. Perfect. And we're also at 36. Now granted, it's probably gonna settle just a little bit, but that's a lot better. And being that we're gonna replace these rear tires with some new ones, I want to make sure I got this done before we align the truck. So we're gonna go with 530 Mobil 1 full synthetic. Good to go. Okay, so now we're gonna reset the oil light. Basically just put it in the on position and pump the pedal 3 times. as you can see, it's been reset. That is another issue. Due to the door bolts being bad, the previous owner would have to yank on this and pull it up with them. So we're gonna take care of that right now. That's better. As you can see here, the rear differential has a severe leak. So let's get this issue addressed. I start by first loosening and removing the cap on the refill bolt. You don't want to drain everything on the drain bolt and then to come to realize that you cannot refill it. To know it's the correct differential level, the fluid will start coming right out just like this. Thank you everyone for tuning in and checking out another episode of Vic Fix It. I'm really thankful for each and one of you as we gain more subscribers, and I'm really eager to finish this, so stay tuned for part 2. Please like and subscribe.